Hi guys, welcome. If you're new here, my name's Nikki. I'm a beekeeper and I make videos about beekeeping. If that's something you like watching, then hit the subscribe button. If you're one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back and listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate it. A little while ago, I did a Taranov split of one of my hives, and so today I'm going to go in and just do a quick check on both of those hives and see if they're still doing okay, if they've made progress. I am hoping to see that the queen in the split of that hive is still there. Hopefully she's laying. They did have drawn comb already that I put in there for them. So I hope to see some progress there. In the existing hive, I don't think at this point our queens have emerged yet, but I want to just check on those queen cells and check that they're doing okay. Well, I'm gonna get my stuff on and we'll get started. I'm gonna go ahead and check on our split first. I've got bees out here doing orientation flights today. That looks fantastic. The first couple days after a split, they usually not going to be too much activity. They're kind of getting settled inside the hive, so you might not see a ton of bees coming and going. I'm hoping that I see a little bit of progress in here. I'll check on these guys first because it's going to be the quickest, and then I'll move on to the hive that we split them from. And I always just check for my queen. If I am getting into a hive without an excluder. Their sugar syrup is gone, so I'll replace this. I recently had to put all of my feeders inside hives. I've been incredibly fortunate over the years not to have too much messing with my beehives, and we've got a pretty considerable amount of woods on our property, and with that comes a lot of wildlife. So it's nice to have those woods. But even though we've kind of battled raccoons and things up near the house, especially in my garden, I've not really had a ton of things interfere with my beehives until this year. So I assumed when I kept coming out and seeing my feeders removed, I assumed possibly I had a raccoon messing with them, but early one morning I did come out and I did see a fox out here with them. So checking for my queen, and that's a first for me. I didn't really expect it to be a fox. They haven't gotten into the hives, but they have been taking their feeders off. And one of the feeders I actually found pretty far into the woods, so definitely gonna keep an eye on them. Looks like our population's grown a little bit. We got a couple frames that are pretty filled with bees. These outer frames here are just empties, so I'm gonna pull these off really quick. And I'm gonna go ahead today and treat these girls for mites while their amount of brood is low. Pretty empty frame. Oh, we got some syrup being stored on this frame. So they are already getting to work on this one. Other than that, that frame is pretty empty. Let me just take this pollen patty off and move it over there. Ooh, lots of bees. all, we've got our brood. Yeah, our queen's still in here. I've got eggs. I've got new larvae in various stages that's waiting to be capped. This had some brood on this frame from before. So we've got a lot that's emerged. Looking for my queen here. This specific queen last year was pretty difficult to spot. Very elusive, but there's not many bees in here, so we shouldn't have an issue finding her today. Okay, this frame was all brood. It is lots and lots of eggs. Most of that brood has emerged. We've got some larvae. Here's my queen. So my queen's on this frame. These guys look great. And this side, I've got eggs on this side of the frame too. And I got a bee. Actually, two of them emerging right now. So we've got a lot of our brood that we put into this hive has now emerged, and we've got new eggs, new larvae, some new capped brood. And I've got a frame here where they are storing some syrup, some nectar. I've got pollen that's being stored in here. Hi, Kiwi. Kiwi has come to join us. Come here, girl. She thinks she's got to be wherever I am. And she loves the bees. Wow, it's got a lot of propolis there. Okay. The frame just with some pollen that I put in. It looks like they are putting more pollen in here. They look great. These last frames really aren't going to be much on them, so I'm not going to pull them out, but this hive looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put the frames back in, give them an OA treatment really quick, and then we will get to looking at the hive that we took the split from, and hopefully we see some progress on them making a queen over there. Kiwis. Get down. Girl, get down. Would you look at this cat? I'm trying to put the cover back on, and she just cannot help herself. They do not sting her, which is crazy to me, but she has no fear of these bees. She does this damn near every time that we're out here. Kiwi, we gotta get down. Come on. No, we gotta get down. Do any of you guys' animals connect with the bees like that, or are that interested in them? I'm going to come back out in a bit and put another box and their feeder back on. I'm going to steal this box to replace over here, and we're going to get started looking at these guys. Now I'm going to go in and check on the hive that we took the split from. They are very active today. Smoker. There we go. I have an extra box out here with me. I'm going to swap one of these out. One of these has a crack on it, so I'm going to swap that box out. They're a little different today. I'm not really going to... look too much into their super. It hasn't been on very long. I'm just gonna pull this off. I do have bees up here though. I'm gonna be checking on the queen cells that were in here and checking on the progress of those. Yeah, not a lot in the super. The queens may have emerged from them. We're gonna find out. Oh, yeah. Pretty decent number of bees up in the super. Okay. Now they could be a little kind of testy because they are in the process of requeening. Sometimes a pretty calm hive might be a little more active or a little more defensive, and that's normal. But I think they'll be okay. It's an empty frame. Once they get through requeening, I'll push that frame inwards a little bit and hope they draw it out. They'll probably likely just ignore it since they've got a super on. I just want to go right where I want to put my fingers. So I am just going to be looking really closely through this hive to see if I do have some virgin queens in here, because it is possible. It's been almost 2 weeks since I have been in here, and they had existing queen cells already in the hive. So it's likely that we may have some virgin queens. I don't know that they would have mated by now, but good. Oh, shoot, I'm pulling these out and forgetting that I'm going to put them into that box. So we'll rectify that here in a minute. Oh, there's some really beautiful kind of red pollen in here. Lots of nectar. These guys have not had a feeder on, so what's in here is nectar. That I forgot I was supposed to swap these over. There are so many bees in here. Really full hive. Lots of nectar. There's still some capped brood in here. Man, that pollen is pretty. got one queen cell on that previous frame. Sorry, I was getting in a groove and not paying attention. One of the frames that had a previous queen cell on it, I don't see the queen cell at all. So it looks to be torn down. Pull this last empty frame out and I'm going to get down into the bottom. The majority of their brood and their queen cells were down in the bottom of this box. Weeks ago I swapped the boxes out because the queen was laying in the top. So we did have some brood in here, but not a ton when I swapped the boxes out. And let's check our bottom box. Oh, sticky. The warmer it gets outside, the easier it is to break that propolis. Pretty pollen. Got nectar. Really acting like a queenless hive right now. They're very calm. Usually they're loud. And they're a little louder because I'm in here messing with them, but not how they had been. Quite a few drones in here. Little leftover brood. This was a previous brood frame. I still got a tiny bit of catch brood on here, not a ton. Getting closer to the brood frames on the inside. Alright, give me 1 second to fix the smoker. Okay, so I'm gonna I've got, this frame has one queen cell here on the bottom. It's still capped. Trying to blow it off so you guys can see it there kind of hanging off. Right there on the bottom, so that we've got one queen cell so far here on the bottom. I know there are a couple more. So I'm gonna be extra careful with this frame because I don't want to damage that. Beautiful. Got another queen cell on this side. Two, three, oh, we've got plenty. Four. Five. They kind of built these in clusters and not directly kind of hanging from the bottom of the frame, but I'll bring this up and try to show you. Interesting. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. A lot of times they just kind of hang directly from the bottom of the frame, and I've got one that does that here. I don't know if you can see. That's a cluster of queen cells there on the bottom. So we have lots of cells to pick from on this frame. It looks like some of these they might have made and kind of like as an emergency because they don't look as far along as others. Beautiful. So one of these will be our new queen. All right, that is just an update on these split hives, the split that I ended up with the queen. They're doing well. Queen's in there. She is laying some eggs. If you've watched the videos of the split, I did give them a brood frame, so that is still there. They look great. They have drawn comb that I had given them before. I have some empty frames in there. I'll probably end up swapping them out for drawn comb just if they're not progressing as quickly as I'd like for them to. I am going to supplement this hive with pollen patties and sugar syrup just so that they can continue to grow and become stronger. The hive that we split from, queen cells are still there. It actually looks like, in addition to the queen cells they already had in the hive when I split them, that they've made some emergency cells too. So I don't see an issue with them having a queen that emerges. I am going to watch them closely just to make sure that we get a queen that mates and comes back. That can be an issue. Sometimes your queens go on that mating flight and they don't make it back. They could get, scooped up by a predator. Sometimes they can't find their way back. I do space my hives out around my property, which gives them a little, I think, a little higher chance to get back into their hives. Sometimes if you've got your hives close together, that can be confusing for a queen returning from a mating flight. Now that's just my opinion. I know other beekeepers who have all their hives pretty close together and they have a decent success rate with queens returning from mating flights, but you do have a percentage that don't return. So I'm going to be watching closely to make sure that happens. You will have a period after you do a split like this where you're going to have no brood in that hive. So you want to really watch to make sure that that queen comes back. So that way if she doesn't, you can intervene and either give them a mated queen or give them some eggs from a different hive to produce another one before you get into a situation where you have a laying worker. That's what we really want to prevent. So I will probably do another follow-up video on these two hives just to show you how they're doing, and hopefully everything continues to go really, really smoothly. Well, that's all I got for this video. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. As always, I appreciate you. Hope everybody has a great day.